Now, on the phone, later than usual perhaps, we've got a regular caller to the show. It's John from Basingstoke. Are you there, John?
Hello, yes, Mark.
Hello, John. Nice to speak to you after all these weeks of not being on air.
Absolutely, it is, yes, and I am phoning in later than usual. You're quite right. That's very perspicacious of you.
Well, thank you. So how are you, John? How have you been enjoying the weather at the moment?
Oh, well, I've been enjoying the sun, but when it hasn't been sunny, I've been enjoying that as well.
That's good. That's good. Watch anything good on telly? I mean, the Olympics has been a big thing at the moment. Do you watch the Olympics?
No, I don't watch the Olympics, but I am actually a big fan of the Olympics in principle.
Right.
But yes, I don't really watch the Olympics, but I do catch up sometimes on the news about what has been happening.
Okay. Are you enjoying what you watch then? You pleased with all the results of people winning?
Oh, yes, I'm quite pleased with the result. I'm a bit of an expert, really, on the Olympics. I have interested myself in that for quite a long time.
Okay.
In fact, I was part of the campaign to introduce Tiddlywinks to the Olympics, but unfortunately didn't get anywhere. Back in the 1980s.
All right. Did you go campaigning for that then, John?
Well, yes, I was part of the campaign, so we campaigned for it. And what we did is we went to the Olympic Committee with a bag of
Tiddlywinks. Oh, yes.
Yes, that's right. And we demonstrated just how demanding Tiddlywinks can be if it's played properly. But they wouldn't have it,
right.
I'm afraid. They sniggered. I was pretty appalled, but there we are.
I mean, for the listeners out there, can you explain briefly, I'm sure everyone knows, but just in case they don't, what exactly is what's the MO of Tiddlywinks? What are you supposed to do?
Well, you have different counters on a table, and you have a little counter in your hand, and you're supposed to, sort of press the edge of a counter.
Right.
And it pings forward, hopefully, or sometimes it pings side. But, I mean, it does involve quite a lot of exertion on your thumb. Yeah. You know, when you're pressing down.
Yeah.
And, I mean, years ago, I was introduced to a gentleman, this was in the Wye Valley, when I was staying at a hotel there, and he used to twiddle his thumbs, and he used to claim that should be an Olympic sport.
Right.
And at the time, I thought, well, he's off his head. But then he demonstrated to me just how much energy was used during that process.
Right.
And he convinced me, really. Okay. And also that there was some technique involved. And he was quite right. I tried to twiddle my thumbs, in direct competition to him over the dinner table. And I wasn't as good at it as he was. I mean, it's remarkable how quickly he was able to twiddle those thumbs. I mean, it's remarkable. He could do over 200 twiddles in 1 minute.
I mean, who would be the judge of that, though? You'd have to have judging would be tricky, wouldn't it, for thumb twiddling?
Well, you'd have to have an expert thumb twiddler to do the job, wouldn't you? But I'm sure that, it wouldn't just be him. There must be people other than just in the Wye Valley who are very good at twiddling their thumbs. I mean, it's a national pastime.
Yeah, really. Well, who knows? It might be something that's pretty big in the Wye Valley and not so big elsewhere.
Well, it could be, but I've no reason to believe that's the case. Do you have any reason to believe that's the case?
I don't, John, based on no evidence at all. No, I don't.
Well, I think I have you there, then.
Fair enough. So you haven't been watching the Olympics. What sort of other sports do you think you'd like to see in the Olympics, then?
Well, yes, quite. I'm all for introducing what might be considered to be strange sports to the Olympics. But I'm putting that very much in italics, what might be considered by persons who haven't thought sufficiently about it.
Right.
In contrast to me, myself, personally, who have thought about it extensively because I have a scientific background, having been a quantity surveyor. So, other sports that really ought to be included, I think, for example, would be snowboarding. I would consider there to be a bit of a prejudice against
I think, John, I'm pretty sure snowboarding is included. I think I've seen it in the Olympics.
Well, I think you're wrong. And ski jumping would also be good. I mean, I notice these things that are cold tend not to be, alpine skiing, cross-country skiing, Nordic combined, freestyle skiing. There are all sorts of very cold sports that could be included in the Olympics if they had.
Well, there is the Winter Olympics.
Enlightened attitude towards this.
Well, there is the Winter Olympics, John. They're all in the Winter Olympics. I think you'll find.
Well, I'm not talking about the Winter Olympics, am I? I'm talking about the Summer Olympics.
Right. Anything else that's not included that you'd like to see in the Olympics?
Well, I mean, I know there's swimming included. Yeah. Sorry, swimming included. But how about water polo, something like that, Good old game, often considered to be for the upper classes, but
No,
Why not?
that's been included.
The Olympics for the upper classes?
No,
Pardon?
I think that's been in the Olympics since about the 1910s. I think that's. No, that definitely is in Olympics. Yep. Anything else?
Well, maybe so, but not the Chester rules.
Oh.
I mean, the Chester rules.
What are they, John?
Water polo.
What are they?
Pardon?
What are they, John?
What are they? They're the Chester rules.
What?
They were the rules that were introduced in the county of Chester.
Right. And what? Sum up those rules
Cheshire,
for us.
Sorry, Chester, the city, of course.
Yes.
Cheshire.
Yes. Yeah, I guessed that. Sum up the rules, John. Or was it too difficult?
Oh, it would take too long.
Right.
To explain.
Okay.
Yes. But I mean, let me suffice it to say that the action is quicker.
Right.
And you're not allowed to breathe underwater quite so much as in the normal game.
What happens
We
if you
don't breathe and then go underwater and wait. You're not allowed to do that quite so much.
Okay.
Normal.
All right.
Polo.
And presumably there are no horses involved.
Correct.
Right. What other sport there have you? You say you're not watching Olympics, but you say you are an expert. So I suppose you don't need to watch it if you're an expert.
Well, you can't be an expert on what actually happens, can you? Especially as it's unfolding or hasn't happened yet. Well, it's a bit stupid to. I'm an expert on what's going to happen in an hour from now, and somebody says, "What's going to happen in an hour from now?" And you say, "Well, I don't know."
No, you could be an expert on what has happened.
Well, that's not what you asked me, is it?
No, true. Anything else that you think is sorely lacking in Olympic Games?
Well, I think actually, again, it's the cold sport that I really do think that figure skating should be included. I mean, I realise that that's often considered to be artistic, but I do think there's been a trend to include artistic elements to the Olympics. And this is one of the things that we brought up in the 1980s with Tiddlywinks.
Right.
We stressed that it was, you could wear different costumes while you were doing the Tiddlywinks, and that the suitability of the costume itself could be included in the scoring.
I mean, I think we're talking about the Winter Olympics again, John. Of course, you're not talking about the Winter Olympics. You're talking about things for this Olympics that have already featured in the Winter. You're not an expert on the Winter Olympics, then, John?
No, I'm not an expert on that. No.
Right. Yeah, I can see that.
So, also, of course, cycling. I think is quite famous, isn't it? I often watch the reports of the cycling contest.
Right.
But wouldn't it be a great idea to include BMX as well? I mean, a lot of young people are very keen on that, aren't they? You see them going up these dirt tracks and the like with their so-called bicycles, having a good time and falling off and grazing their knees and all that sort of thing. But wouldn't it be great if that was included in the Summer Olympics? I think that would be a good idea, with costumes.
Do you want some bad news, John?
I'd rather not.
Okay,
no.
All right. Well, it might be good news. The actual BMX racing Olympic sport is actually it's been and gone. 1st and 2nd of August, cycling BMX racing, and that is something that has happened. So perhaps you should have been an expert on that.
Well, okay. Well, I'll have to admit an error there then. I mean, every expert has to admit they don't know everything.
Fair enough.
So yes, okay. I'll admit to an error
right.
on that one. What about bobsleigh? I mean, skeleton bobsleigh would be something that would be great to include.
Winter Olympics?
Well, why not in the summer?
I think it's possibly there's not enough snow and ice around in the summer. That would be my guess.
Well, that's what they say.
Yeah. What about BMX on ice then? How about that? Do you think that would work?
That's an excellent idea. I mean, all you need to do is go high enough, just find a mountain that's high enough, and the altitude itself provides the necessary temperature, or lack of thereof.
Okay, well, that's interesting, John. Interesting thoughts there on the Olympics.
Pogo sticking. Now, this is something that, again, I campaigned in the 1990s on that one, having given up on the Tiddlywinks.
Right.
Because we were getting nowhere. I mean, just Philistines, really. Having then got into the business of pogo sticking, I managed to persuade my mates at the time, who had been interested in the Tiddlywinks up until that point, to join me in a campaign for pogo sticking. And, yes,
how far did it
vociferous about that as well, including costumes.
Wow, what sort of costume were you going to wear, John?
Oh, well, for the demonstration, I wore a suit of armour.
Okay. Did that help?
Frankly, no. I'm always still tearful, actually, at the thought of it. No, you're right, it didn't help. We should have just done it bland.
Yeah.
So
Perhaps just stick to Lycra next time, John. How's that?
I think so, yes. Yeah. So we should have introduced that as a further element, the artistic display.
I mean, what about
costumes? We didn't explain, you see. So the problem was, we all turned up looking like a fancy dress party, and didn't go down too well. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, what about sort of dressing up in suit of armour, having a race on ice? Now that's something I'd watch.
Indeed, I would watch it as well. Absolutely, I would. Well, I'd watch the report anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So you didn't watch the opening ceremony either, I take it?
No, because I heard it was going to be controversial.
Right.
Yeah, so I thought I wouldn't watch it for that reason.
Fair enough. Okay.
Because I understand there was something to do with a display that wasn't the Last Supper.
Yeah, no.
Both was and wasn't, so I thought I would better miss, because things that both are and aren't rather annoy me.
I think it was a display of an artistic representation of the Last Supper, so it wasn't a representation of the Last Supper. It was a representation of an artistic representation of the Last Supper. So.
Yeah, but I was told that it was going to be a representation of a representation that also wasn't a representation of a representation. It was a representation of something else at the same time and wasn't that either. So I decided not to watch any of it because I thought it would be controversial unnecessarily and would get my goat.
Talking about goats, did you see the horse on the water?
No, I didn't see that, no.
All right, well, nice talking to you, as ever, John. Interesting comments about the Olympics. Do you have a song for us to put on the virtual turntable?
Well, anything by Fine Young Cannibals. Okay. This is a strange thing, actually, because I've never heard anything by them. But I like the name. Okay. There are a number of groups where I like the names. I mean, In Spiral Carpet, for example, Prefab Sprout. So these sorts of names stick in my mind. So sometimes I think to myself, well, if I'm ever going to ask for a song, I'll ask for something by a weird group like that.
Right,
so,
okay. So you like the idea of Fine Young Cannibals, do you?
I do, yes. I think it's a fine name for, possibly fine group, but I've never heard them, but I'm going to hear them now, I hope.
Right, well, then, funny enough, there is a song called Johnny Come Home, if you don't mind.
That'll do.
Yeah, that'll do. Okay. Who shall we play that for? You want to give a shout-out to somebody for that, John?
Don't care.
Okay, well, here it is then. What?
Molly. No, actually, no. Maud. Actually, no. I don't care.
All right. Well, that's a shout-out for You Don't Care Who. No. Okay. That's okay. Let's have a bit of a fine group you've never heard of. And presumably you're an expert if you've never heard of them. Or you've never heard them. You've heard of them, but you've never heard them. Is that right?
Are you all right, Mark?
What?
Right. Are you all right?
I'm fine.
You seem to be losing it somehow.
No, I'm saying you've never heard them, but you have heard of them.
Correct,
yes. Okay. Here we go. Fine Young Cannibals and Johnny Come Home. Speak to you next week, John.
Bye, Mark. Great speaking to you.
Bye.
Darren's Valley's radio station.